Well, we're finally to this moment, and just really excited, about watching our name come across the screen tonight. And it's been a long 10 days for this group to wait to kind of see our fate, and we're just feel very fortunate to be one of the 64 teams that are going to be playing in the NCAA tournament, and really just want to make sure that I talk about our league a little bit because the Big Ten is such an incredible league, and night in and night out, this is what we prepare ourselves for, playing the best, and we are to the moment now where all the work that we've done in the Big Ten, playing great opponents, our kids playing some tremendous players, our staff happen to go up against some of the best coaches in the country, have certainly prepared us for this moment, the NCAA tournament. So I want to make sure that I give credit where credit's due, and that's to the Big Ten, and just reiterate how excited we are and fortunate we feel that we're in this position tonight, that we're going to be playing once again on Saturday. I think it's great, from a travel perspective, from a fan perspective. I don't think that we could have asked for, as far as proximity, location, for a lot of our, the parents, families, friends of our players, and our staff to be able to, travel the distance, and our friends here in administration and so forth in Indiana, to be able to travel up to South Bend, will certainly, I think, bode well for us as far as our fans being able to travel, because I think we'll have quite a few. I know quite a few families that'll be there in attendance. Well, we've tried to, we've really gone 2 days off, 1 day on, and we did some recruiting throughout those 10 days as well. But we used it wisely. I think we were able to maintain our cardio, because we still had our guys. We're still here, our practice guys. And so we played quite a bit, scrimmaged quite a bit, got up and down the floor, and we put them in game situations. When I say scrimmage a lot, we put different scenarios, situations up on the clock that we went through this year, or that we potentially could go through. So there were a lot of game management situations that we tried to go through with them, with the help of our men's squad. So it was great work. The last 2 days, they've been incredible. Yesterday, we had probably one of our best practices. And not that and these guys have always come focused and ready to go, but in terms of our competitive level, right after the Big Ten tournament, it seemed like we were tired. We were fatigued, especially those kids like Tyra and Lex and Cahill that have logged a lot of minutes. And so it was kind of nice that I feel like for the first time in several days that they had some life to them. They had some energy about them. I thought Tyra was really good yesterday from start to finish, and didn't seem like fatigue was a factor. And I thought early on, after the Big Ten tournament was over, those couple days, even though we took the weekend off, she came back. She still looked a little tired. So, I think we've regained that. I know that as every day got a little bit closer to Selection Monday, our kids got a little bit more excited, and today they weren't worth much. They were just too excited about the night, and even though it was a kind of a light shoot around, we did work on some things, but keeping their attention was a tall challenge, and it didn't bothers me as much, because I was kind of a lot like them, really. eager to get to 7 o'clock.
And you talk about the weight. I mean, were there any doubts, or were you pretty confident considering what your resume?
Well, I think there's always you always allow a little bit of that to creep in your mind because you pay attention to bracketology and but everybody on the that I spoke to as far as coaching, my colleagues kept reassuring me that there was no question that we were going to be in, but nothing's guaranteed. Right? And so you wait until your name's called and you see it flash across the TV, and then it becomes, it's they're not going to be able to take it back from us, right? And so we're legit, we're in, we're excited, and I know that nobody's more happier for those kids in that room than their coach.
You have to treat this group a little different. I mean, a few of them have WNIT experience.
Sure. Well, it's, I think one of the things that perhaps will help this group is coming up short the way we did in the Big Ten tournament. That was awfully disappointing, for us. And it's kind of similar situations. We had some time off, and then we came out flat. So, the good thing is that we're not going to have any more time off. It's go time. It's practice time, and we got the next couple days to really dig into Georgia and prepare for them and put together a scouting report. So, our preparation's not going to be any different. It's probably good that we finally have a team to prepare for this group because, for them, they like I said, their focus has been tremendous throughout the entire season. But this is a group that wants to know who they're going to be playing and wants to really dig into their personnel and wants to see on film, how their style of play, both offensively and defensively. So I think we're to a point now where, our kids have an idea. Well, they know who we're going to be playing. So I think their attention to detail and their focus and their energy level is going to be great. But I think that there's, something about knowing who you're going to be playing, which is going to help with this group.
Do you know anything about Georgia?
Well, I know that, several years ago when I was at Georgia Tech, obviously Georgia Tech, that's always, it's like Purdue IU, right? Rivalry. And, at the time, Andy Landers was the head coach. His assistant now is Joy is the head coach. So in terms of style of play, I mean, the SEC, we have a tremendous amount of respect for that league, and it's an athletic league. I know they're going to be missing their leading scorer that is out, second leading scorer that's out, but they have some really good pieces, and they've won a lot of games, and there's no question that they're good enough to be in the tournament, and so we know when you get to this point, everybody you play is going to be good, and so that will be, and our kids they know that, so. We'll know a little bit more, or I will know a little bit more tomorrow after I get my eyes on them tonight with film as well as our staff. And we'll come back here tomorrow at 3 o'clock and start our preparation for them.
Do you call Coach Joseph at all?
I do call Coach Joseph, yeah. And, that's one of the things about being in our coaching sorority fraternity is that, I got a lot of colleagues and friends that want to see the Hoosiers do well. So I've had several texts of people that want to send me information and call and help with our preparation. So that's really special to me. But Coach Joe and I'm sure talk tonight.
Amanda said you guys didn't really have much to prove after the Big Ten tournament, but it was more like a learning block. Do you see it the same way?
Sure. Well, I do. I think I hope we learned something from that. And again, we just, I've watched that film, 3 times, just to try to come up with a solution of why we just seemed so flat and didn't have many answers. And there were a lot of reasons. We defensively, we were disconnected. Offensively, we could find no rhythm. And, I think it was one of those opportunities that, you guys have heard me say this before. Sometimes you learn more from a loss than you do a win. And, I know that our kids will approach Saturday's game probably far different than they approached the first game of the Big Ten tournament. Why? Because it was very disappointing and disheartening, and they had to watch it on film too, their poor play. And so there's something about having, another season that we don't have to wait, for a whole nother year or summer or however many months that is until next year to kind of learn our lesson. Hopefully we did learn something from that. And like I said, I would anticipate and suspect that this group will come out far different than they did like they did in the Big Ten tournament.
And what do you think about the region in general? Obviously, if you want to make a run,
Right, in their home gym, right. So, I paid attention to the bracket, but John, I'm going to bore you again with telling you that the only opponent we're worried about right now is Georgia, and we're not going to look ahead. You know this. We've maintained that mantra throughout our Big Ten season. And the next game's the most important game, and that's not going to change in terms of our approach to the NCAA tournament.